After working with Arnold Itkin, I feel good about my future.
On August the 1st of 2019, woke up in the middle of the night, gripping the side of my mattress, and I realized that everything around me outside was on fire. The gas line had exploded.
I woke up on the ground and hearing all this noise. It's almost like a train going down the tracks times 10. Just kind of shook a little bit, and it took me a while to figure out what was going on. My first thought was a tornado's on us, about to rip us apart. I started making my way down the hall to where my wife was.
And I turned to the left and I saw my husband coming down very slow motion, and I realized that he was not cognitive of what was going on. I tried to tell him that the gas line had exploded, but the noise was deafening. I thought my head was going to explode from just the sound.
I opened the back door and I looked outside, and just the fire and the heat. It didn't take me long to come to a point that we were trapped and we weren't going to get out, and our life was over. I remember having the thought, wow, 50-some years old, and this is it. We're never gonna see our kids no more, because I knew we wasn't getting out, and I knew nobody was getting in. It was too hot. And I was at a point where it's either burn to death or I take our own lives. That's the only option we had.
We opened the back door to a flood of fire, just pouring like a tornado. It was beyond hot. And we started to run. My skin immediately started to sear, and it took my breath. It was so hot and so painful. And I cried out to the Lord again. It felt like wings engulfed around me and started to push me forward, because I had frozen a little bit from the heat and fear.
And I stayed behind her and our dog, making sure they were okay. But the whole time, the whole way out, for some reason, I kept turning around looking at that flame and how big it was. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Things were falling out of the sky, large hunks of rock and debris that were on fire. And one whizzed past my head real fast, and I was like, what was that? What was that? And still trying to stay upright and falling over everything, and Jordan just making me go and go. And Denver was behind me, but in my head, there was a quiet silence saying, go, 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 go. Don't look back. Go, go, go. And that's exactly what I did. And I couldn't run anymore because there was no air in the area. It was so hard to breathe. And so I tried to hide behind a building, and I looked over to the building, and the paint had started to bubble up on it. My skin was burning real bad, so I tried to pull my shirt down over my skin.
Kind of fell back a little bit thinking, oh, we're not gonna make it. You know, there's no way, it's too hot. We're gonna fry as soon as we get out from the cover of the house into the open. We're gonna fry, we're gonna die.
I knew that I couldn't stay there. Even though I'd ran as far as I could, it's still not safe. And I could see that there were some trees, so I took off toward the trees. And when I stepped into those trees, I could breathe. I got a first real full lung breath of air, and I was so grateful.
I heard that the gas line exploded because of lack of maintenance.
Every car, every piece of clothing, every picture, every memory that you had saved, every special item that I had collected was gone in an instant.
My wife and I, we were in the area one day and we saw Candy Ellis, which is the daughter of the woman that died in the explosion. She came up to us and asked us what our plans were, and we didn't really know at first, and she told us about Arnold Itkin, and she said she really had a lot of trust and faith in them. That's how we ended up going with Arnold Itkin.
Sometimes I would think about the level of stress that I had going through this whole thing, and I think about Arnold Itkin taken on that stress for me, and they picked it up and they ran with it, and they have allowed me to close that chapter and feel good about it and move forward without looking back with regrets. I feel great.
Arnold and Itkin, they just made us feel kind of like, hey, everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna help you out here and we're gonna take care of everything for you. And they did. It's almost like going over to see your family and sitting down and talking with them. After working with Arnold and Itkin, I feel good about my future. I feel like I have no worries. They were there for us, and they're still there for us now. I feel like my future is really bright because of Arnold and Itkin.